All right, y'all, we are moving down the Eastern Conference standings. We're just in Cream City yesterday. One of the best and arguably most confusing nicknames for a city ever. That's Milwaukee, for those that don't know. We're going to the city of brotherly love, which also is a little bit confusing of a name given that Philadelphia sports fans are probably some of the most aggressive people ever born. I'm not sure how much brotherly love they're going to have for their team if it, doesn't advance in the playoffs, trying to get to, at least the Eastern Conference Finals here. But I mentioned it in the last video. Really like what Philly did this offseason. Most of it you can attribute to now that we know James Harden taking pretty significant pay cut, which I think is a big pivot point for them, allowing them to sign PJ Tucker, Daniel House. They did the trade their first round pick for DeAnthony Melton, great rotation guy, adding backcourt depth, also surprising good rebounding guard. And it all kind of hinges upon this Harden decision, because we know was he going to hold Daryl Morey and the Philadelphia 76ers hostage, declining that player option, and now being on the open market. What would that mean? And now everyone in Philly can, not only did they not sign him to some 5-year, $200+ million deal, they got him at, I'll call it a discount. I'm not sure how many teams would be eagerly offering James Harden more money than that, but, relative to this situation, it is taking a significant pay cut, and I think that shows a lot of growth from James Harden in terms of what he now values. Obviously, he's made a lot of money in his career, but the one thing he has yet to do is win a NBA Finals, win a title, and perhaps that has now become more important to him than it had in previous years, and so he's willing to sacrifice the money, get some roster upgrades. And, PJ Tucker, already familiar with James Harden from their time in Houston. Obviously, we know what he can do in a playoff series in terms of guarding opposing players. Already mentioned how much his loss is going to hurt Miami. I think, their loss is now Philadelphia's gain. Definitely needed some of that kind of toughness and grittiness because, Harden's not exactly a plus defender. We'll say Tobias Harris can get lost pretty easily. But, you throw a lineup with, Thibault and Tucker and Embiid, Maxey. You have some decent kind of length and defensive ability there. Now, Morey's also said they might not be done trying to upgrade the roster. Whether that means moving Tobias Harris and his, obviously tough contract, we'll see. Tobias Harris obviously kind of notoriously overpaid, but I think, you look at his numbers, he's ridiculously consistent, durable, never, after all the stuff that's gone on in that locker room, Tobias Harris has not contributed to any of it. Seems to pretty much stay out of the spotlight, with the exception of his really cool relationship with Boban. Other than that, you don't hear much. He's not I understand he's never, statistically matched what they're paying him in terms of max money. He's one of the top probably 30 guys in the league in terms of this year's salary. But he's going to get you 20 points a game. He's going to kind of show up on defense, going to rebound, can facilitate a little. I think there are worse things that Tobias Harris could be as a human being and as a player than that. So I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to upgrade him in trying to find that 20 points elsewhere, trying to divide it up somehow. When you do look at this team's depth chart now, the glaring thing at the moment is in the front court. You have Tobias Harris playing, kind of a small stretch four. You have Embiid, Georges Niang, Paul Reed, Paul Millsap. Wouldn't expect him to come back. So, now you have to be in the market for some kind of backup center. You need someone that is at least decent to fill in those Embiid minutes, give your big man a rest. Obviously, he has the injury history, kind of managed a decent, games played in the games played category this past year. hoping to kind of build upon that. So it would be nice, if I'm looking at the roster, to try and fill it out by some backup center. And usually backup centers can go for cheap. You'll get a guy for a vet minimum. Probably, no problem. So there's that. And I think this team, kind of the culmination of the past couple seasons, all the frustration with Ben Simmons and his departure. You bring Harden in, who now has kind of, in an act of good faith, taken a discount, doing things that hopefully contribute to winning. Hopefully that locker room is all in a better state of mind. Hopefully Doc Rivers can be the guy to lead them. Obviously, the huge question marks about his playoff history outside of the Celtics title. A decent amount of question marks. I think they've addressed a lot on paper. It's going to be these personalities. It's going to be the health of these players. That's obviously going to play a major role. But I think this Philly team has the makings of a team with, looking to prove something. This is a team I could see being just the 1 seed, really trying to value home court, trying to win as many games as possible out front. Harden has something to prove. Embiid has something to prove. Maxey has something to prove. And so figure Maxey's going to take another step up. Surprisingly, one of the best three-point shooters in the league by percentage, which, we don't think of him as a knockdown shooter, but the numbers would say he is. Tobias Harris is also up there in terms of pull-up three percentage. They have all the makings. Can they pull it together? And can they, most importantly, put it together in the playoffs? Can James Harden be the regular season James Harden when, all the attention's focused on him? Is he able to facilitate? He's got guys to pass to. You look at Maxey, Tobias, and then the two-man game with him and Embiid. He doesn't have to do it all, ever, really, at this point with this roster. Never going to have to do it all, never going to have to defend at a really high level. It all makes sense on paper. It's just a matter of, can they do it in the playoffs? Can they beat a Milwaukee, a Boston, a Miami? We'll have to see, but I like what they've done so far. You can say Daryl Morey has done everything in his power to improve this roster. We'll see if they make any other improvements. Let me know if you think there's something else they can do here. Love to know. I'm always on the trade machine checking things out. But as of now, not loving any Tobias Harris deals as of yet. But we'll see if someone comes available. But excited to see this Philly team, kind of how they look from the get-go. But that's it for me now in terms of their off-season outlook. Hope you take care of yourselves. Take it easy. And I'll see you next time.